Hello everyone, I hope that we're all safe and well. Just for anyone that might have missed the material or want to go over the material again, it was a long talk in class with part 1 and with part 2 of the poster. Protein is just so important on our weight loss journey, and the experts now realise that we should be eating more protein. It doesn't mean that it's all about meat. There's all different sources of protein. Just be wary of products that you see in the shop that will be labelled as in high protein or protein. Just be careful because there might not be actually that much protein in it. So remember, if you have any questions on that, to always just check in with me. I'm more than happy to answer any of those questions. But it is important for men and for women, and in particular perimenopause women and menopausal women, to have that protein there to support our muscle mass. It is our structure, plus the more muscle that we have, the more muscle tissue that we have, it does aid our weight loss and quicken our weight loss, which we are going to cover the main points. Obviously I cover more information at class, so this is just for anyone that missed. But I think I'm going to cover most. I just don't want to go on rabbit on for too long, let's say. So protein, what you have there, okay, so it says how much should we have. So we all should calculate our weight, which I did with most members at class. So your weight in kilos, so in kilograms, and then you multiply that by 0.75 of protein per kilo of weight. Okay, so any questions on that, do come back to me, but that's an easy way. And obviously that there is such a thing that we can eat too much protein, but as we lose weight we need to check in on that and decrease the amount of protein, if all that makes sense, which I hope that it does. So it just says up first there, basically increasing your protein, what it actually does. I'll stand on this side. Protein intake as we get older, menopause, perimenopause, that didn't work when I stood on that side, so sorry. Perimenopause can aid weight loss, okay, by preserving lean muscle mass. So that's what we want, and that's why men in general will lose weight quicker than women, because they have more muscle tissue which burns calories constantly, whereas women has the difference of fat tissue, and that's just the difference of hormones for childbearing and different things like that. So we tend to have more of that fat tissue, which is very lazy and doesn't do an awful lot, especially when we're resting, okay. So it just says there, increases satiety, so it makes us more full as well. Boosting our metabolism, so that's definitely what we want. As we get older, obviously things slow down, our metabolism slows down, and sometimes members will say to me, I was able to lose 5 and 7 pounds in a week when I was in my 20s or in my 30s. Unfortunately that doesn't happen as we get older. Things slows down, but then it's more consistent and then it stays off, okay. So it just goes on then to say, aim for 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal. Some sources like fish, you have your dairy in there, you have eggs, you have lean poultry. Plant-based options are also a good alternative in there, just to vary things and to change things around. A balanced diet, strength training is in there as well, and following the food pyramid, basically what we're learning at class, what we're learning in Slim for Life every week. So how does it work? So basically it preserves muscle mass, okay? So as muscle mass naturally declines as we age or as we get older, unfortunately. A high protein intake basically helps with weight loss, basically to build and maintain your muscle as well as we get older. That's our structure. That's why many people, when they fall, when they get older, and they might break hips or wrists or different things like that, is the muscle is not supporting the bones enough. It's not strong enough to support it. So it's important as we get older to be really conscious and aware of that. But the beauty about this is that it's never too late. It's never too late to build muscle and then maintain that as well, okay? So you might think, well, I'm a bit old for that and I don't really want to change. Be open to change. This is new information that we should be having more protein in our diets. Basically, it keeps our metabolic rate active, and again, that's what we want. And burns calories. It basically burns more calories than fat. That's the basis of the message. Then it just says increased fullness, so that's what it does as well, okay. Protein is more satisfying than the likes of carbs and fats, also which can help reduce overeating and general overall calorie fat intake, because you feel full. Protein makes you feel full, so that's why it's really important that we're eating every 2.5 hours, okay, and to be snack smart, like what we're going to talk about. It boosts our metabolism down here in the red. Having more muscle mass increases your resting metabolic rate. So when we rest, that's when we burn as well. But generally as women, that when we rest, our metabolic rate slows right down. And as we age, as I said, it kind of gets a little bit slower. So we want to just up the ante there a little bit on that. So any which way we can, and any help in doing so. It just says there, measuring basically burns calories when you rest. Okay, so what we want to do is for to burn when we rest. So that's the key message there. It regulates our appetite as well, okay? So it helps reduce levels of hunger, okay? And this is just medical terms, the hormone ghrelin, and increases levels, that wasn't meant to happen either, increases levels of appetite regulating hormone peptide YY, okay? So they're just medical terms. But it does regulate our appetite, that we're not eating as much or we're not craving as much. That's why a lot of people say, oh, I have the 11 a.m. slump or I have the 3 p.m. slump, because we're not having enough protein and the blood sugars are spiking at different times, and then you're looking for something sweet to give you that boost, or maybe at night time as well, that can play a part. So part 2 of the talk just talks about how can we increase it. So we're aiming for that 30 grams with each meal, okay? And we will go through the different options. Choose lean meat. You have your eggs in there, you have your yogurt. Your Greek yogurt is the best. So to have your Greek yogurt, you can put your blueberries in, your real honey, any fruit in there. Roughly about 250 grams. It's really a great choice for breakfast, to change around from cereals, because again, cereals can be high in carbs and they can be high in sugar. And then what we have, incorporate plant-based, okay? So you'd be surprised. And it's okay not to eat meat 2 or 3 days a week. We have changed that about a year and a half ago. And the food, it does take longer to make it more appetizing, let's say. I really have to play around with different spices. But you just feel clean and lean after it. So that's the base of that. Beans is in there as well. Lentils are great. So our mothers or our grandmothers would have used a lot of lentils in stews, maybe into curries, sometimes into coddles as well. Red lentils are great for thickening. Okay, so you don't need the likes, and they're free, and they are a good source of protein and also a good source of iron. You don't need to use thickeners, potatoes or different things like that to thicken up soups or stews. So they really are a great source, plus they're free on plan. Fish, seeds, tofu, etc. The likes of your vegetarian options as well. But you need to snack smart as well. So be aware, like I think a great one for me when I'm on the go or in between maybe school run and crash run, is I have meat roll up. So I have like the slices of turkey, and what I put is a little bit of grated cheese, maybe some cucumber, tomato in, and I roll it up like a wrap, and I just bring it in a Tupperware container. So again, that's a good source of protein, a good way. Or the tins of tuna or salmon are also brilliant. Other important strategies on our protein intake is to combine strength training 2 to 3 times a week. So it's different in cardio, so you're building the strength in the muscles and that muscle resistance in there as well. YouTube is great. I might actually stick a link into our group. So build muscle and support bone density, which is really key, because again, as we get older, that's when we tend to break bones a bit more easy. It's great getting older, isn't it? Then what you have is prioritise sleep. Sleep is really, really important. Poor sleep basically increases the stress hormone cortisol, which can lead to fat storage. Generally where fat gets stored is going to be around the middle, which is where we don't want it, because that's where all the vital organs are. So cortisol is absolutely lethal, that stress hormone. So we do really need to prioritise sleep. It's just important as increasing our protein. Then what we have is stay hydrated. So sometimes chores can be mistaken for hunger. So I like what we talked about, emotional hunger versus physical hunger, to practice that pause and say, do I actually really need this? Why not have a glass of water and see how I feel after that? Okay, so maybe try that one. That could be your change for this week. Then we have focus on whole foods. So that's really important. Good, clean foods and whole foods. Be wary of the ultra processed. We will have a label swap talk coming up again in November, and we'll have a detox talk as well. So protein content, you have a chicken breast is 25 grams, the same as a turkey breast. Picture of these posters are also in our WhatsApp. A pork loin is 22 grams, lean ground beef is 24 grams, lean ground turkey is 23. So these are all quite the high ones. Then we have a salmon fillet is 22 grams. We have a lean beef steak is 21. And then what we have is one turkey rasher, so from Doyle's Meats, their size rashers, is 6 grams, and one turkey sausage is 5 grams, okay? Eggs, then you have a small egg is 4.7, a medium egg is 5.5, and a large is 6.3, and an egg white is 3.6 grams. So remember that we're aiming for 30 grams of protein with each meal. Okay, so that's important, but it is very easy done, and then calculate it by your weight. By 0.75 as well. So fish is a good source as well. You have cod, shrimp, halibut, scallops, mackerel, swordfish is there. Also what you have is granola, oats, lentils, beans, etc. Like what Matt are talking about. And your little motto for this week is eat more protein and to stay lean. Plus it just aids that weight loss as well. That metabolic rate is really important, and it supports our structure. Most of us, I would think it's fair to say, going from food diaries that we're currently not eating enough protein. So I would really like us to work on that. You know the drill. Any questions, please just get in touch. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to support and I'm here to help. And I want us all to have a good week, and we're aiming for £5. I set the personal targets in class this week. We're all going for £5, myself included, £5 for the month of November. Remember, it's never too late. We're 7 weeks out from Christmas, plenty of time. And if we're after having a wobble so far this week, that's okay, you're human. But what we do need to do is get ourselves back on track, okay? Keeping food diaries, drinking water, increasing protein, prioritising sleep, they are all key parts in the mix of daily consistency to see results. So I hope that helps. You know the drill. Any positive or negative feedback, please just let me know. And I'll see you all next week to celebrate our 15-year anniversary. I'm so excited and looking forward to seeing everyone. I just really just want to give back and just thank you so much for being part of my journey as well. See you all soon. Bye.